Hello, welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
I'm William.
And this week's episode is a little bit of a continuation of last week's. We had kind of teased that Will was going to be talking about a Twitter story thread known as the Greg thread.
Yeah, that's the best name that it goes by.
Yeah.
At GR3GORY88 if you need to go read it.
Cool. People are being lazy. Why don't they call it the Gregory thread? He obviously goes by Gregory.
The Gregory thread.
That's a little bit too familiar, you know?
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right.
Yeah, like if you introduce yourself as Stephanie and they're like, Steph, come on this way. You're like, I said my name is Stephanie.
Yeah, I told you what I like to be called.
Right. Whatever.
Who do you think you are?
But before Will gets into that, I'm going to do a little mini story, kind of the way Will did last week, where he talked about a popular horror meme. He talked about the I'm sorry, John thing. Mm-hmm. I Googled, what did I even Google? Popular creepypasta. Well-known I think I just put creepypasta into Facebook to see what people are talking about, because I'm in a bunch of spooky groups. So I was like, maybe there'll be a thread of my favorite creepypastas or something.
That's a good idea.
And what came up were a few references to Jeff the Killer. So have you heard of this before?
Literally, yes, I've heard of it.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it. I thought, and I guess maybe I'm wrong about this, I thought it had something to do with Courage the Cowardly Dog.
If it does, I didn't hit that.
Which is
it's not impossible. I didn't go super deep because this is a mini. I don't think,
but from what you showed me, Kristen showed me a picture, and I don't think it's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But there's a show called Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's an old cartoon show about a dog that lives in a farmhouse with two old people that are its owners. Mm-hmm. And it sees ghosts and monsters and stuff, and its owners don't seem to think they're threats, but the dog very much does.
Is that what Courage the Cowardly Dog is about?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of awesome.
I've never seen it. It would come on. I'd be like, not for me.
Oh, man. There's like a fan theory that it's a totally normal house, and these people are completely normal, but Courage is a cowardly dog. And so just like how my dog, Molly, flips out at everything.
Right.
Maybe from a dog's point of view, these are monsters and stuff. But from a human's point of view, it's just
the mailman.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But they had some like pretty clever monsters and wailing ghosts and...
What?
Sure. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't. That's the only thing that show's about.
You are blowing my mind.
I don't know. What did you think it was?
I don't know. I just thought it was like about, like a scared dog or something.
Oh,
it just didn't seem like it was for me, and it sounds like it kind of was.
Yeah, it's about clever monsters, yeah.
All right, well, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, whatever.
Boy, oh boy. Maybe Jeff the Killer has something to do with that. I have no idea. I'm thrown.
Maybe there's just another character called Jeff. I think there's a guy that's like all put together with like a bow tie and big smiling teeth, and he talks about how he's been a bad boy.
I did run into some other creepypasta characters, and that kind of rings a bell. There was like Laughing Jack, like Tiki Tommy or something like that.
Sure.
Stanley Tucci. I don't know.
Don't you drag the Tooch into this?
You're right. I should never. He's pure.
Yeah.
Actually, we dragged him into this. He would purify all of it.
He would.
Just by being in proximity.
Oh, man.
Okay, so it seemed to me from my, again, surface level research that Jeff the Killer might be the second most famous creepypasta character to Slender Man.
Oh.
It seems like it's a big deal. Like when I searched on Facebook, it reminded me of Five Nights at Freddy's just a little bit, because there was a video of some kid wearing a Jeff the Killer mask, like jumping out of a closet to scare his brother. And I was like, this seems like it's too old for these kids to be into. It seemed to be little kids who are all about this, and it's a very violent, messed up story.
Interesting.
So the deal is, it seems, again to me, that it was written by kids. There's a fandom page that's like villains.fandom.com. Yeah. So it's kind of a wiki. And just listen to the profile of Jeff the Killer. So I'll say off the bat, the way Jeff the Killer looks is there are different interpretations of him, but pretty much a totally smooth white face with a big messed up grin. And part of his story thing is that he had his eyelids burned off.
Oh, okay.
So it's a smooth face. I think he kind of looks like a dinosaur.
He kind of looks like a dinosaur, like from the old show Dinosaurs.
Yes, yeah.
A little bit.
So just listen to this. This is part of why when I was reading this, I was like, children did this, yes? So, occupation, serial killer. powers/skills, murder methods, peak human conditions. And we'll point out, is this really the peak of human condition? Like,
Somebody
it looks like he entirely burned his nose off.
Somebody who's had their eyelids cut off and their nose burned off.
Right.
Peak human condition.
Hand-to-hand combat prowess, peak strength, peak athleticism, high stamina, speed, durability, is a very durable guy, enhanced senses, and stealth. Hobby, killing, drinking, doing whatever he wants.
Oh, come on.
Kids, right?
Drinking?
Yes. So that seemed to be, again, I feel bad even mentioning them because I don't know the name, so it's probably annoying to hear back because you're like, who's this? I looked at a couple of creepypasta guys, and they were linked in that page that I just said, so you could find them through there. But it seems like drinking being cool was a common theme. I was like, these are definitely like teenage people who are putting this together. So the story of Jeff the Killer is that he was a 13-year-old who moved to a new town with his family and his brother Lou. And after they moved, Jeff got an odd feeling in his mind, quote unquote. Started feeling a little weird. So they're bullied. He fights back. That odd feeling is kind of kicking in. There's violence, and eventually gets to a point where there's a fight where he's covered in alcohol and bleach and then set fire to, which makes him go crazy Joker style. And then he starts like carving up his face and stuff because he's like mad now and just getting into it. Did you have something?
Well, it just sounds like a worse Joker.
Yes, it's definitely a worse Joker. So he ends up killing his family, and he goes on a killing rampage, quote, killing those who refuse to sleep at night. Jeff becomes infamously known as, quote, ominous unknown killer.
What? That's like what they called him?
Yes. It's written by 14.
Look out for ominous unknown killer.
He becomes infamously known. And also, he's killing those who refuse to sleep at night. That has nothing to do with his origin story. I condensed this down extremely far.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
This is
but
awesome.
There's nothing about, like,
there are no thematic through lines. There's nothing.
No,
that's
it's not like somebody who refused to sleep at night is the person who maimed him, so he kills people who don't sleep at night.
Yeah.
It seems just random.
You know what it is?
What?
That's to scare people who are up late. That's to scare. That's to scare like little kids that are on the internet when they were supposed to have gone to bed.
Yes.
So Jeff the Killer might get them.
1,000,000%. It's just strange to me that there's no, that's the meta reason. We can infer that. There's no thematic
there's no
reason.
Character reason.
No,
I will
not
say
at all.
that would make me a prime target for Jeff the Killer.
Well, William, then you'd better not do this.
Okay, here's what I don't do.
There's a Bloody Mary style game associated with Jeff the Killer. So I'm just going to quote it from that page. Jeff the Killer is apparently a ghost game similar to that of Bloody Mary. The instructions are that you perform it in a closet with all lights in the room turned off. Then you sit down cross-legged, repeat the sentence, "He's in here with me," 3 times, whilst turning your head back and forth. Then close your eyes and call out the name Jeff. Jeff will then appear in front of you and proceed to yell and try to chant harm at you.
What?
To make him stop is to stand there and compliment him. Not doing so will result in a disaster.
Will result in a disaster?
Yeah.
Just like spit all over myself. Will result in a disaster.
Right. Fake threat.
Any possible...
Yep.
That could mean any number of things.
Anything. And there's also a thing
the
where...
fridge came unplugged.
What a disaster. There's also a thing where I guess there was something that said like his known line, "Go to sleep." So I guess you could be in bed and you would hear a voice and it would be Killer Jeff saying, "Go to sleep."
Huh. Well,
so
all right.
You guys could find out a little bit more than I cared to. It apparently didn't start as a creepypasta. It started from a YouTube video in 2008 from user Killer Jeff called Jeff the Killer Origin Story. And then it migrated onto creepypasta 3 years later when somebody basically posted an adapted version of the story. Apparently the video on YouTube is just like stock photos while the story is told or something like that. Somebody adapted it, put it on creepypasta in 2011, and then the story really blew up when Mr. Creepypasta narrated the story.
Okay.
So it grew from there.
All right.
Yeah.
Jeff the Killer.
So it seems to
I've heard
me-
the name before.
He seems like an icon.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, he can be a proxy of Slender Man. Slender Man could send him to mess with you or whatever, along with like Tiki Tembo or whatever.
Ricky Tiki Tembo.
Yeah.
Might get you.
You gotta watch out for Charlie Bartolucci.
Oh, no.
He's the worst of the gang.
Oh, no.
Pip-Berry Pembo, actually nice.
Oh, yeah. You want Pip-Berry to come over.
He doesn't hang with the rest.
Yeah. That Pip, Barry Pembo. He is a Pip.
That's right. So that's the story of Jeff the Killer.
Boy, we're having a real off-brand day. So Jeff the Killer is kind of the off-brand Slender Man.
Mm-hmm, right.
Slender Man is an icon above and beyond.
He's
got
huge.
its own movie, a ton of video games.
Apparently, there were plans for a Jeff the Killer movie, and there was like a teaser trailer that was out or something that there was a huge unhappy response to. I don't think it was going to be a movie with like Universal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When's the last time somebody released a teaser for a movie and then the public outpouring of negativity made them go, we better shelve this.
Right.
Even with Sonic the Hedgehog, they're just like, well, let's just redo some stuff. Cats is still coming out.
Yes.
This was not a real movie.
I wonder if there are going to be some edits to Cats, though.
Those effects are not finished. If they're in a trailer, if the movie were finished, it'd be coming out.
Totally. But I wonder if there are going to be any major edits to the situation there. Because that outcry was something else. I don't think it'd be so major that they're like losing face and losing progress. But for instance, the fact that it looks like their tails are coming directly out of their butts. I wonder if they're going to change that. Have you not seen anything about that?
Is it coming out from between the cheeks?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Pretty much.
No, it's not.
Pretty much.
Absolutely not.
Pretty much. There are shots where it's somebody like dancing, they're doing like a cartwheel or something, and people have done like a quick, screen. Yes, and it just looks like a tail coming out of a butt. Truly. So things like that, I think, are going to change.
No.
Yes, William.
I don't believe that. I think there may be. I think it's got to be that like somebody like Freeze. Right there. And it's like off in the distance. It's probably up for interpretation, and it may look that way, but it might be a trick of the light. There's no way that they modeled a tail coming out from between two butt cheeks.
No, I think you might be picturing more drastic than I'm saying. It's not quite that, but it looks like somebody stuck like a hose up somebody's butt is what the tail looks like.
Really misunderstood.
But like with legs akimbo, you know what I mean? It's hard to get the point across, but no, that is a thing. That's one of the things that people have pointed out is crazy.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
I think what they might do is they're going to finish the effects. They had to release something to have a teaser online.
Yeah.
They're going to finish the effects.
Early.
They're going to put cat noses on them. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I mean.
I think just little tweaks. I don't think they're going to change the whole thing, but I think they're going to hear parts of the outcry that are doable, both like not having to start from scratch and also not losing face or whatever. And I think things like that, small tweaks like there being cat noses.
Although one of the best things that could benefit the movie is losing those faces.
Yes.
Let's start over here.
Absolutely.
It might be a mistake from the word go.
Yes. I think it should just be some sort of CGI fest where they're voiced by those people.
Absolutely.
Or people in fun costumes. Yes.
How about some costumes?
Yeah.
Folks?
Never the twain shall meet.
No, it's too late.
It's too late.
So anyway, Jeff the Killer. It's even a bad name.
Yes.
Slender Man is something that you can sink your teeth into. Mm-hmm. It's something that people can rally around. You can make a movie of it. It can take off and have its own legend and stuff. Now, Jeff the Killer apparently is very, very popular. But Jeff the Killer?
I know. And
a bunch of inconsistent sort of like lore to it that amounts to nothing. You may as well tell me that he can fly. Like, who cares? It's also, if he's the ominous unknown killer, that implies to me that he's a human stalking around.
He is a human.
But why can I summon him via a Bloody Mary game?
It's a good question.
See? You see what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. Maybe it does. Like I said, I didn't go deep on it.
Well, it brings me to my topic for tonight. Mm-hmm. Last week, you talked about
Dear David.
Dear David. Something that people rally around. It's got an easy name. It's got an alliterative name. Mm-hmm. It was fun. It was playful. And it was an interactive horror story taking place on Twitter.
Yeah.
Where the person tweeting is part of this horrible thing that's happening to them. It's very found footage.
Right.
It's as if Heather from the Blair Witch Project could live tweet what she was experiencing. This week, the Greg thread. Mm-hmm. This is very much the same thing. But just like Jeff the Killer, it's harder to explain any of this stuff.
Oh.
It's messier. and it has a bad name.
Oh,
The
boy.
Greg thread is hard. It doesn't connotate horror.
No.
It's hard to...
Is it really just because his name on Twitter is Gregory?
Presumably.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I've seen this called. I don't know. But it's got like a marketing problem.
Yeah.
Almost. So the Greg thread, everybody. I'm gonna give you, how about I give you a spoiler-free thing just for 2 seconds, and I'll give you a spoiler-packed thing, Dearly Departed Pop style. So, Greg, at GR3GORY88, link in the notes, is a guy who joined Twitter again for the first time in a long time in July 2018. He's really excited to start sharing stuff, but he only updates here and there occasionally. He mentions at one point that his grandfather passed away, and he continues to tweet other unrelated things. And then it starts becoming about how the fact that his grandfather passed away meant that he has inherited this old house up in the mountains nearby a lake. There's no exact location given. And essentially there's a bunch of odd things that take place once he goes there. It seems like somebody's messing with the house. It seems like people are showing up and staring at the property. It's almost like there's a cult kind of thing happening. Sort of like a paranormal attraction thing going on. And over the course of the story, Greg is tweeting about what he's experiencing, uploading photos of things that he's coming across in the house, in the woods, asking for advice, asking people like, here are a few things I found. What could they possibly mean? And then he'll disappear for a week and come back and go like, I found out what they meant. They meant this.
Oh, this sounds good.
And then another little bit of adventure, goes away for a period of time, going like, here's something else I found. What do you think it is? Comes back later. Here's what it was. So it's almost, to me, for the storytelling purposes, set up very plainly as, I'm going to tell this story of what's happening to me. It's a paranormal story. Then I'm going to give everybody a puzzle.
Right. That's what it sounds like.
I'm going to let you sit with it.
And give
then
you the answer.
I'll come back and I'll tell you what the right answer
That's
was.
cool.
Yes. There are a lot of cool things to it.
That sounds awesome.
And I really think that it's a damn good time, and it falls apart by the end.
It's hard to sustain that kind of
1,000%.
How long is he doing it?
He's doing it for about half a year. It ends in around, about 6 months. I think he ended it January of this year.
Did you feel like it was kind of the way that we felt about Dear David, where at a certain point he had run out of material and kind of goes for something that's a little bit too big? Or is it different?
Yes and no. The Greg thread, so there are a lot of things that I really admire about it. A lot of the things that I'm going to say about the story are not like, we're storytellers.
Yeah, totally.
It's not about saying that something is objectively bad or anything. It's almost for me like I love picking apart the way that stories are done.
Yeah,
and it's almost
too.
like a loving exercise. I just want to say that.
It's interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So like one of the things that I particularly admire about the Greg thread that I think Dear David did not do, because I do think that I kind of feel as if the Greg thread saw Dear David and was like, I could do that.
Yeah.
And and they're getting a movie. This is like another way to get like a story out there, which I think is brilliant. And I think people must be doing a lot of, and I would love to see more of it. But
it's also such a cool storytelling medium because of the interactive
1,000%.
Yeah.
So, one of the things the Greg thread does, this is, so when you were talking about Dear David, you kept saying, go to this Bustle article that summarizes everything in far more succinct a manner than if you were to just go to the tweets.
Right.
You can go to this guy's tweets and you will get the full experience. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Cool.
The tweets stopped January this year.
Oh, so his Twitter is just the Greg thread, basically?
It's just the Greg thread. There's nothing there but the Greg thread. And so it's like picking up a book.
Yeah. Cool.
From a certain point of view.
What a cool idea.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like the feeling that like there's an element of completion. There's an end, which is very enjoyable. So, like I said, it all started with a bunch of innocuous stuff, which is very interesting to look at, knowing where all of this goes. Yeah. By the way, we're going to get into spoilers now. I'm going to spoil the Greg thread from here on out. But suffice it to say, I think that people should read it. I give a recommendation to read the Greg thread. So anyway, Greg joins Twitter and he just tweets, guess I'm going to try Twitter again, which is just the right level of
like real.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah. It's not committed. It's like, we'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
He starts posting that, he's got breakfast. He got like a bunch of eggs. He just puts a bunch of egg emojis.
Right on.
And stuff. He tweets a bunch of stuff, and then later, about a month later, so he's done a bunch of innocuous stuff.
Yeah, just normal.
Disconnected. 1 month later.
I feel like that also sets up kind of credibility. Like, I'm a real person. This is my real life, and this is all going to be part of my real life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, August 27th, 2018, he tweets, "Just found out my grandpa died. Never really knew him, but still." Another tweet. "My mom never wanted to talk about him, and I never really asked." Emojis of sad faces.
Well, express yourself.
Yeah. 2 months later, we're now in October. End of October 29th. "Made a new friend." Picture of a little slug. I'm like a rock. And then here we go. "Something weird is happening in the woods outside my house, and I don't know what to do."
Excellent.
This essentially begins the meat
Yeah.
of the Greg thread. "I guess I should start at the beginning. This isn't really my house. It was my grandpa's, but I guess it's mine now. He died a couple months ago, and because of some tricky paperwork, I'm apparently responsible for it now."
Okay.
Which, again, is like a really... he has no expectation that people would know this about him. He may not even, for the purposes of the story, the character may not even remember tweeting that his grandfather died.
Right.
Right?
It's kind of perfect. Yeah.
He goes on to explain that the house is in the middle of nowhere, in the mountains by a lake. On a break from grad school, he figured he'd visit the house and work on it. He's going to eventually try to resell it. But then, returning home from a trip to the store to get supplies, he found an, quote, artifact? I don't know what to call it. It was obviously handmade. It was made of sticks and twine and had some small bones tied into the middle of it.
Blair Witchy.
Very, very, very Blair Witchy. There are a lot of things in this story that harken to Blair Witch, which obviously is very near to my heart.
Yes, mine as well.
Absolutely. And like he's posting pictures of them and stuff. They are straight up. They're not stickmen. They're not the Blair Witch classic stickmen, but they are twigs tied with twine.
Yeah, that kind of thing. It's just a different shape, basically. Yes. And with an addition of bones.
It's always a triangle. It's 3 sticks in the shape of a triangle with something hanging in the middle. Mm-hmm. That is how this will all be. This triangle.
Is awesome.
Yes. So he threw it in the fireplace. As you do.
Sure.
Because he thought it was unimportant.
Yeah. Why?
Would you ever?
Never in a million billion years.
I do not believe in witchcraft.
Yeah, but I'm still not taking any chances. I'm not letting that evaporate and disperse into my atmosphere.
Absolutely not.
No
Would you grab
way.
one of those guys up there real quick? Just for people who are watching the video here on youtube.com/talkbomb, I've made some figures of my own with wood found in the woods.
What's this? A triangle?
Oh my god. Oh.
Ew.
What?
Cobwebs.
There are spider webs growing in the one up there. I've got stickmen all over my basement here.
Yeah.
Eduardo Sanchez, where you at?
Right.
Dan Myrick, hit me up.
They're partially all over the base. Well, they were in here anyway, but Will went on a vacation and I watched the dog and I took the liberty of hanging stickmen from the ceiling for when he came back.
Hell yeah, and I kept one up there.
Yeah.
It hangs there still and it's covered in spider webs, which usually I typically would have cleaned off, but
whatever.
It's kind of working.
Yeah, it's kind of sweet.
It's fine.
So part of the ecosystem.
He throws this stick thing in the fireplace. He's like, maybe some kids left it here.
Bad news.
Yeah, of course. In the morning...
I love this already.
In the morning, he finds another one made with a rock in the middle instead of bone. He finds 8 in total. Quote, "They all had different objects tied to them. Bones, feathers, that sort of thing. It was definitely weird, but I was more annoyed than anything. Thinking that someone was in my yard decorating the trees with these ugly goth Christmas ornaments."
Awesome.
He gathered them up and threw them all in the fireplace.
No, stop burning these things.
Gregory.
Yeah, Gregory.
Gregory? Knock it off. Okay.
It's disrespectful.
Then, Greg found clothes and stuff in the grass, in the tall grass, along with a notebook. All the pages had been ripped out of the notebook except for the last 2, and there were indentations all over the last 2 pages. Then they see a person standing in the tree line looking all spooky, staring at the house. It's a person that's wearing a hoodie. He's basically now essentially getting the idea that there is a stalker of some sort, a watcher. a watcher within the trees.
Oh my God.
This is massively
awesome.
zoomed in. Like the full photograph looks like it's just of like foliage and stuff. It does look like a Sith Lord. It looks like a scary.
It's a guy wearing like a hooded cape.
Yeah. Well, is it a cape? It just looks like a big. It looks like they're wearing like a triple
poncho.
XL
Yeah.
hoodie.
A big poncho.
So anyway, a few other things, transpire, weird, whatever. But as he's looking at this person, he notices they have no eyes.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking
no
person didn't look right.
No eyes and no hair.
Mm-hmm.
So this is now like he's been doing other stuff. He's like gone down to the lake and done things. He's come back and now the person is standing just like in the middle of the field out in the open and staring at the house. So what I'm going to show to you might be hard to do on the video, but
okay,
it's a person standing out in the field staring at the house, no eyes, and at the last possible second just turns and looks in his direction. He starts running, the camera starts jolting, again, very Blair Witch. It's like he drops the camera essentially to run away. And it yeah, I mean, hey, listen.
That's great.
It's not a good thing. This is not something that you want to experience. Bald person, no hair, no eyes. And he's just filming them until they look at him and he starts running away.
That's great.
Good gravy. Good gravy. He calls the cops. They tell him to lock the house. They'll come by in the morning.
In the morning?
In the morning.
It's going to take him so long.
I know.
Seems like a priority.
I know. A couple days go by. No tweets. Halloween Day, October 31st, 2018. The past couple days have been really strange. I also have shitty reception up here, so I'm sorry for not updating. They sent a police officer up yesterday morning, but I feel like it didn't accomplish anything. No other houses around the lake have anyone in them. All the windows are dark. No cars in the driveways. He sees two people out on a boat, but they're not moving. He thinks they may be watching him.
Oh my God.
There's two figures standing on a boat in the middle of the lake, looking in his direction.
Oh my God.
Then he finds an eyeball in the lake.
Okay.
And takes it out with his hand.
Ew.
And takes a picture of it.
Okay.
And I don't think it looks great.
No, it's like a gumball.
It looks like a gumball. It looks like a jawbreaker.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show it on the thing just because there are a few gory things in this as well.
It doesn't look great.
But it's like he's scooped up like a bunch of pebbles and an eyeball and took a picture of it and put it online.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's one of the first...
Is he saying that he happened to get the eyeball in the scoop full of pebbles?
I know. Yeah, right? Like the staging of it is...
Yeah, like he didn't realize it was in there. He's just going for a handful of rocks?
Yeah, it looks like he had stuff in his hand and with his right hand and his left hand, with his right hand, he arranged them to make them photogenic.
Yeah.
And then
placed
took the photo.
A jawbreaker.
It's just a little too tidy.
A little too much.
Now, it's funny to say that the eyeball thing is the first one that makes me go, nah.
Yeah.
A person with no hair and no eyes standing in the field
looked cool.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're willing to like take the leap, I guess.
Yes.
We jump a few days. November 6th.
Oh.
2018.
That's Will's birthday.
My birthday. He finds entrails in the lawn. Photograph, they look like real entrails. Like, went to a butcher, I guess.
William, are yours fine? All in there?
Definitely.
All in?
There's a lot of stuff in there. It's actually kind of awesome. Like, it's straight up, like, I think he had to, like, most of these are Twitter pics, so you can, like, just go through the tweets and they'll be right there.
Right.
For this one, he had to set up a separate link to try not to trigger, like...
Yeah, like censorship-y kind of things.
Yeah, and I guess he also didn't want people to scroll by and see something they don't want to see. So it's like, you have to click if you want to see it. You have to... Yeah. You have to know what you're getting yourself into to see it. But yeah, so he creates the link. The images of sloppy entrails covered in bees.
Ugh.
Which is gross.
Ew.
Kind of rad.
I wonder if the bees thing was just happenstance, kind of.
I know. There's a lot of bug stuff here.
Interesting.
It's interesting. He says he hears screams outside. Evidently, people have been tweeting at him about that notebook from the other day, from like a week ago, telling him to do a charcoal rubbing of it.
Yeah.
Which is very, like, Blue's Clues.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Like, do a charcoal rubbing.
Yeah.
Do a charcoal rubbing. What's that?
But of course.
You think I should do a charcoal rubbing? So he does that.
Yeah.
And he posts an image in the notebook. And essentially it's just scrawled all caps all over the place. And it says, they took my eyes. Written over and over and over and over.
Okay.
Constantly. He goes, what even is this? What the fudge? I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I need to go sit down. What the hell is going on? He disappears for 3 days. I called my mom yesterday. I wanted to see if she knew anything about this place. She said I've actually been here before when I was really young. I don't remember any of that. He asked his mom to explain again why she had a falling out with her father. This is his, mother's father's house. She doesn't really have a good answer for him. She kind of dodges it. He explores the house a little bit more, and he eventually finds a wine cellar with a dead rat inside. Post that picture. Again, a case of you've got this creepy old house in the woods. Oh my God, there's a dead rat.
Right, totally.
I can work this into the story.
Yes. Yeah, might be opportunity.
A bunch of weird statues and garbage are outside. Also, a pile of letters. Like that you would, nail up to the side of a house or something.
Oh, okay.
Almost like, you would nail your house number above your garage or something. It's letters.
Okay.
So he lines up all the letters. They're all jumbled up. And he asks Twitter, can any of you figure out what this spells? It disappears.
Fun.
Disappears until the 21st.
Yeah.
He's gone for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He explains that he's been gone because of lack of reception, but he talks about the town now a little bit. The town is weird. He went into the diner and he ordered the Eggs Benedict off the menu. They brought over to him a plate with English muffins with ham on them. Hollandaise.
No eggs?
No eggs.
Weird.
And he goes, what? Where are the eggs? And the waitress basically goes oh, we don't have those here.
Because eggs look too much like eyes?
Oh, interesting. I don't know.
I thought it was going to be that, he gets Eggs Benedict and the two eyes are looking up and, somebody, put a bloop of hollandaise on each of the eggs. So he's like, the eyes. The eyes. They're following me.
The huevos are ojos. But so he grabs the menu again to look at it, to be like, no, I got the Eggs Benedict. But it's just called the Benedict. And in the listing for it, eggs are not mentioned. Nowhere on the menu. He's got a page from the menu. So he must have written it, printed it out. It looks like a real menu from a diner.
Or could it be that there is a very weird-ass diner by somewhere that could it be a crime of opportunity?
I guess it could be.
It'd be very odd, but it seems like such a strange detail to include for no reason. Does that play out in any way?
It does.
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. One of the second things he tweeted back in the innocuous tweets was about eggs.
What was it? I don't remember.
He just said he was eating breakfast and he took a picture of his eggs and put egg emojis all over the place.
Okay.
It does come back.
Okay, then maybe.
But so here's a picture of the menu.
Yeah.
Benedict, English muffin, Canadian bacon, and hollandaise sauce.
That's really funny to have something that's just the Benedict.
Yeah, the Benedict.
Yeah.
And it's part of a menu that is from the Homestead Diner. It looks like a real menu.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And so, it's just a menu. There's nothing fancy schmancy looking about it at all. Except that every single thing that you'd expect to have eggs doesn't have eggs.
That's cool.
It's just strange. When he gets home from the diner, there's a note wedged in the door that just says, leave.
Oh.
About a week later, I saw something out in the woods today. In a clearing in the woods, he found a chair.
What?
Does that ring a bell?
Yes. Of course it does.
I saw this and I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Okay. So when we were kids, I ran away one day. I was mad at mom and dad, or maybe mad at Will too, or something. Who knows?
It's such a good story.
It's a great story. And I left. I took the clock down from the wall in my room. I made a PBJ, and I left a note saying I was running away. I'd be back at 6:30 for Blossom, but then I'll be leaving again. So just so you know, this is the deal. And
we lived in the middle of nowhere in Connecticut.
Yes.
We had an acre of woods behind our house, untamed.
Yes. Woodsy woods.
Woodsy woods.
Right.
You get scratched by thorn bushes and stuff running around there.
Brambles.
Which we did constantly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I marched into the woods. I grabbed a little chair, a little plastic yellow kids chair that I think a lot of people had. And I found myself a little clearing. And I think I basically sat down, and then mom came and was like, what are you kidding me? What are you doing? Get back inside, or whatever. So I went back in, and my running away was thwarted.
Yeah.
But I left the chair in that clearing. So then Will.
So I used to run around in that backyard all the time.
Yeah.
It was insane woods. You couldn't see anything. Sometimes I used to try to, it was a fenced in backyard too, so it was kind of safe.
Yeah.
But sometimes I used to try to like follow the fence because I couldn't figure out where the borders of our property even were. And so I was creeping around in the woods and stuff. And then I saw a clearing with a chair in it and nothing else. The implication of which is, you know, a monster, a witch comes here to sit in this chair. What the hell? And it scared the hell out of me. And I used to constantly from that point on, maybe until the chair was put back by the playground stuff, or maybe it never was. I don't know. I used to constantly walk out there and go to that chair and be
just kind of look at it.
Yeah, what the hell was going on?
Wonder.
Yeah. Turns out Kristen ate a peanut butter and jelly there.
Yeah. And then Mom took me right in.
It was the scene of a PBJ.
I guess my mom wasn't particularly concerned about the chair at that point. No, just the note that she had found.
Yeah, exactly. I'm running away. I'll be back. I'll be back to watch Blossom.
And I don't think I said I'm running away to the woods. You know what I mean? Like, I think I said running away. She had to be so relieved I was in the backyard.
It's got to be terrifying. Yeah, exactly. In the fenced-in backyard.
Yes.
Couldn't get anywhere.
No, I knew I wouldn't really run away.
Right.
Too lazy.
Yeah. Although there's somebody who's said to live beyond the back fence.
Yes.
That had stabbed his father.
Right.
On Thanksgiving. And so I always figured there was a murderer back there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because there was.
Because there was. That's
anyway,
actually a real story.
As part of the Greg thread, a chair in a clearing, just completely on its own.
Excellent.
Who the hell knows what's going on? Just someone chilling in a chair in the woods. And he realizes, looking at it, I think this is pointed in the direction of the house.
The house, of course.
So the person with no eyes stares from the tree line, stares from a field, just looking at the house, though she cannot see.
Right.
Here's this chair in the woods facing the house. People on a boat watching the house. What the hell is going on?
These people want to marry this house.
They do. Oh, if you love it so much, why don't you marry it?
They're obsessed with it.
30 feet away from the chair, he finds some sort of a
PBJ.
A PBJ. He finds a strange little shrine. It's on a rock. There's an animal skull surrounded by a drawing of a triangle, like little rocks stacked, and a little tiny bug wiggling around on top of it.
Excellent.
So again, it's not you know, it's not the hanging thing, but it's like sitting on a rock.
That's
it's
sweet.
A triangle with an animal skull.
Yep.
With a bunch of little rocks and stuff. So who the hell knows what's going on there? And by the way, for the purposes of this story, you know, if you're assuming it's fabricated, and I am, he had to find an animal skull.
Yeah, right.
And like vertebra and stuff. And there's like a gross beetle.
And like place a bug. Also, I don't think those are rocks, they're shells.
They're shells?
Yeah.
Like you're right.
Seashells.
Yeah, they are shells. You're right about that. They're like they're like little snail shells or something. But, there's like a little bug sitting on top of him. And basically, Greg at this point is just like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Excellent.
I don't know what's going on. He posts again a couple weeks later. Now we're into December. I found out what those letters spell. Deepwater Chapel. 2 days go by. December 13th. She was here. That woman was in my house. He had a weird dream that night about his friend Eric. At one point, Eric says, "Is there someone watching you sleep right now?"
Oh, God. That's awesome.
Greg wakes up, is in a complete panic. His front door is wide open. He knows that, like, the dream was true somehow. For me, I'm like, is this a subconscious thing that he was
right,
aware
he
of a
like
presence?
Woke himself up, basically. Like when you have to pee in your dream, like, you have to pee.
Exactly.
Get up, yeah.
And so he's panicking, whatever. She took his clothes. His clothes are
that he was wearing, or
no, just like clothes that he had in the house.
Yeah. Oh,
just took them and left. 10 days later.
Oh boy, that's a big meatball to leave there for 10 days.
Big meatball. Deepwater Chapel. She was in my house watching me sleep.
Yeah.
She took my clothes. December 23rd. I'm sorry I haven't said anything in a while. I've been staying in a motel about an hour outside of town.
Yeah, good. I like this.
He's
that makes
been
sense.
Trying to get a locksmith to change the locks. He finally has got some when he goes to meet him at the house. He sees a shrimp load. More stick things.
Yeah.
With stuff in them. But it's his stuff. Gloves, a bandana. Then he sees giant eggs out in the woods. So essentially,
what is going on?
You know, I forgot something I forgot to mention. This isn't even in my notes because I looked at it and I was like, Come on. I'll get back to the giant eggs.
Okay.
I'll get back to his clothes stuff. When he saw that shrine, that animal skull, he also goes, I also saw her again, floating.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
Listen,
and he went back to sleep in that house and everything after this?
Yes.
Okay. A little much.
It's
cool.
It's cool.
Very cool.
It's fun.
I like this image. This is a freaky image.
Yeah. Freaky deaky image.
But you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a whole lot.
There's just a lot you gotta buy into to think this is fun. It is. So it's the hoodie.
That's like the figure of Voldemort in the woods in the first Harry Potter, where he kind of like goes swooping down.
Right.
And it clearly looks like a cape tied to some sort of ropes or something like that they drag down.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Very theatrical.
Well, I'll tell you what. Maybe I'm a nut.
What?
I took a video from behind the tree. I don't even know why. It's not like it'll do any good, but at least I have proof I wasn't imagining all this. So, I could have sworn he said he thought she was floating. I wonder if I
think that looks like floating. Maybe it's because you said that to me.
Yeah, but I just looked at it a little closer. You can see these legs.
Oh, yeah,
they
you're
just
right.
kind of go behind the plants. So that's just the person standing there still, just like looking at the ground.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, God, that's scarier knowing that.
It's like you have to look at it longer to realize what you're looking at.
Okay, it does. Yeah, I think because you said floating, I assumed floating, but it's actually better because more real.
Better because more real. I couldn't agree more. Now I'm presently literally in the moment wondering if I made that up.
If you read it somewhere
or if I read it in the tweets or something.
Uh-huh.
You know, like she was standing up a hill, seemingly staring at nothing. Yeah, I guess he didn't say she was floating. I think subconsciously, I looked at this and thought that he was trying to do a floating effect.
I can see that. Like at a glance, when you said that, I figured they were floating. Okay. But if you look,
that's on me.
That's way better.
That one's on me. I could have sworn. It said she was floating around.
That's much better.
I could have sworn. Okay.
And scary. That's scary now.
It's far scarier.
It was a little bit silly a few seconds ago. Now that's very scary.
Yes, absolutely.
But still, why would you go back to your house and sleep there? I would be at the motel then.
Yeah, lickety split. I would be.
If not when they were standing in the middle of my yard. I don't know that I'd be staying around to live in this house any of this.
I would have called the popo.
Yes, I would have called the popo.
Lickety split.
Yeah.
Lickety split.
Mm-hmm.
So here are some of the things with his stuff in them: a glove, sock, bandana.
Just die.
Just it feels very like voodoo.
Yeah.
I guess like to have your stuff be taken and used for
right. And again, Blair Witch.
Yeah, very Blair Witch. Very Blair Witch.
When she takes, is it a piece of Josh's shirt?
Yes.
Yeah.
His shirt is tied and bound with sticks and blood and teeth and a tongue and stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool. They're the giant eggs he saw in the woods.
That's awesome. I mean, I love all these images.
The images themselves, taken out of context, I like them all.
Yes.
Placed in context of this story, he found giant eggs in the woods.
Right.
And they look like plastic eggs.
Yeah. It's weird. It's a weird combo because I think that in context of something else, I might be fully all in on these eggs or things like that. But it's the weird combination of you being supposed to suspend disbelief because this is a Twitter thing and presenting it as this is all real and it's all happening in real time is incongruous with an image of a bunch of big plastic eggs in the woods and a jawbreaker eyeball. I think those are cool ideas and cool images on their own, but presented as you're supposed to be believing this is all happening to this guy
1,000% real
makes it less effective.
Yeah, there's like a cognitive dissonance thing. There's like a uncanny valley effect kind of happening.
Yeah, if you presented that all in a story that's the conceit is already out there, this is fiction, whatever, then I'd be all in. But presenting it as part of a real life story makes it a little bit like,
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. He goes inside the house and he sees a gigantic one of those things.
Oh my God, with like a shirt hanging in the middle.
With a full shirt hanging in the middle. And written on the wall in what looks like it was added in Microsoft Paint. It says, fear...
I don't think so.
Really? That doesn't look like scratching, nor does it look like...
I don't know. The fact that, look, there's a T with the shadow on it. See?
I see that.
I don't know. Maybe I just don't know enough about this stuff. It doesn't really matter.
I just don't... it just looks kind of odd. It's not going to show up on camera well.
Yeah.
But it says, fear the new moon.
Mm-hmm. That's sweet.
Somebody online posts... an image to him that shows the new moon is going to be on January 5th.
Okay.
So Twitter interaction brought that information to the character. So there's a bunch of tweets where he's anticipating the new moon.
Okay.
On January 5th itself, the day of the new moon, he finds her in the cellar.
Why? Why would you go to the wine cellar?
I don't know.
What's he doing? Ooh, yeah. Let me see. Okay. Barely wisps of hair.
Yeah.
Her hair is the equivalent of the cobwebs hanging off of the Blair Witch thing that we talked about a few minutes ago.
I agree with that. So yeah, she's in his wine cellar, and there's a cool, freaky image where she's flanked by like crosses and stuff, and she's got her hood down. You can see her bald head. And sure. Okay. Okay. Here we go.
This is great.
It's great. It is great. Here we go.
Okay.
She turns and speaks to him, saying she'll explain everything.
Okay.
You should be very concerned.
Okay. About to fall apart?
It's about to fall apart.
Okay.
He tweets, "Sorry, I'm just trying to make sense of this. She said she'll tell me everything. I'll be back." So he's talking to her.
In real time?
Yeah.
He was talking to her and then he's like, let me fire off a quick one.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
She was trying to protect him
Okay.
all this time.
Oh,
When
I
he-
hate this kind of thing. I hate when you find out the bad guy's a good guy. I don't like that.
I agree. When he asked what from, she was quiet for a long time. Quote, when she finally replied,
Eggs! Must be right.
Eggs!
You know, I've really got eggs on the brain tonight. I don't know if you saw.
you?
Yeah, I do. Because they announced some stuff about the Masked Singers next season. One of the characters is an egg. They chose their character to be Egg. It's just an egg with a fried egg hat on.
I don't know how you can watch that garbage.
You're out of your minds. You are out of your minds.
The Masked
It's one of the
Singer.
most fun shows I've ever watched. I can't wait for this next season.
egg.
Anyway.
An egg.
All right. So what?
I'll dress like an egg on this show.
I know. That is so insane.
It's bonkos.
Oh my God.
It's bonkos.
I've already seen speculation that Egg maybe is some sort of athlete because their thighs look strong.
Oh my God. Or dancer. What?
I know. Look, I'm just telling you what I heard.
All right. All right.
See, it's fun. It's a mystery. Maybe I should be live blogging. No, it'll take out the joy for me. Never mind. But think about the Masked Singer.
I'm going to break the fourth wall. So we do this show live every week on youtube.com/talkbomb. We try not to consult the chat every 5 seconds so that we can present a show to people on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever, without being distracting. However, I do have to point out that Taylor just wrote that this is a story about Greg.
Greg. Oh my God.
The word egg is hidden in the name Greg.
Wowie wow.
The Greg thread might actually be a brilliant name.
Egg thread.
Maybe it is as good as Dear David. The Greg thread. It's all about egg.
Wow.
It's all about egg. Okay, let's get to the answers.
Sorry, go ahead.
We'll get to the answers here. So she took a long time to answer when he asked, what she was protecting him from. And she finally starts to explain, there are things in the water. A long time ago, something came from the sky and landed in the lake. It brought something with it, something ancient and strange. The people who lived here began to commune with it. They protected it from the outside world, devoted their lives to it, and in return, the thing gave them a gift. The people were blessed with abnormally long, healthy lives and many children. But it all came with a price. In the beginning, there was just the one. It spent most of its time deep in the lake slumbering. But over time, it made more. Instinctively, I asked about the eggs I saw in the woods. The woman nodded. So the thing in the lake.
She's like, right.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Birthed the eggs in the woods.
That's weird.
Okay. This all has something to do with twins.
Okay.
Evidently, everybody in the town is a twin or used to be a twin.
Okay.
Everyone has a bunch of kids, but they can't keep them all, so they need to offer one of their two children to feed to the creatures. They start by eating your eyes.
Okay.
Explaining why this woman has no eyes.
Right.
And then she explains that this happened to her, and then a bug crawled into her skull.
Okay.
I don't know.
Wait, so when you offer the second twin to the creature, it eats your eyes first, but presumably it eats the whole person,
That's
right?
what I thought.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's kind of a cool idea on its own. Like, if you were to isolate that and put in a different story, where there's some sort of weird magical town where everybody has a twin, but the downside is, or like everybody has two.
It's so that
but the
you can-
downside is that it's so you can give one to this monster thing so you can keep prospering.
Right.
That's kind of a cool, like, wolf
Yes.
fairy tale idea.
Yes, I agree with that. But it just so happens that the ritual has to happen on the darkest night of the year, which is tonight, because it's the new moon.
Okay.
So from here, Greg runs outside because he has to stop this. He has to stop this from happening this night.
Yeah.
So he leaves her in the house. He runs out to stop it.
Why was she in there anyway?
She was warning him?
Okay.
I'm guessing she was staring at the house because it used to be Deepwater Chapel where people used to worship these things.
Okay.
Right? Like, so now we can sort of start to fill in some of the blanks. Maybe his grandpa had an abnormally long life.
Right. Huh.
He was there as a kid. Maybe he used to have a twin.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So he found broken bits of hatched eggs in the woods. He failed to stop anything. But he did take a bunch of pictures of things out in the woods.
Okay. Ugh.
That do
Okay.
look
It's like,
cool.
yeah, I mean, it looks sweet. It looks like a flayed skull.
Yeah.
A skull robbed of its skin.
Yes, a skull robbed of skin, bits of bone showing, red, whatever. So
Viscera.
he's like running around and he's seeing these things
Yeah.
occasionally. I guess they're the newborns? I don't know.
Huh.
But he eventually...
Wait, I think I might be a little confused. Was tonight the night? So I guess then tonight the night it was the hatching of those things.
And so presumably that's also when they feed? I'm guessing.
Okay. The newborns feed on the twin. I was thinking that the creature eats the twins. Like, I was thinking it was like
The newborns
night.
are the creatures, right?
I figured there's like a big mama creature.
Yes, but I'm assuming
Yeah.
that she gives birth to these babies and the babies
Right.
probably need to eat.
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't think about that. I thought it was like the big mama creature on this night is going
Right.
to eat, and that the eggs hatching was just kind of like happenstance. They happen to be hatching tonight because they're ready. But I guess you're right.
I think the creatures run around and gobble, gobble, gobble.
Okay.
So he runs around trying to stop them. He fails. He tweets, "I'm back at the house now. The woman is gone. It's so quiet. I don't know what to say right now. I'm going to leave in the morning. I'm sorry. I just don't know what else to say. I'm sorry." And then he tweets however many days later. I think this is maybe like 11 days. Yeah. January 16th.
This is still awesome. Can you imagine reading this in real time, being like dying?
It's a real good time.
Yes.
It's a good time.
Yes.
Party time. Excellent.
Big time. Zang.
He tweets, "I'm still here. I'm alive. I left the house after that night." He decides not to sell the house, but he does leave it. "Whatever it was, I can't let it happen again. That's why I'm not selling the house. That woman said this happens every year. If she was telling the truth, then maybe there's something I can do next time. I have to try. I'm not sure when I'll tweet again. I need to take a break and get my head together. But I'll be back. I have to go back. I won't let it happen again."
So when was this?
This was at the beginning of the year, January 16th.
So could we maybe be looking forward to this January, a continuation of the Greg thread? That's fun.
Greg thread 2, the hatchlings.
Yeah. Ooh, the hatchlings.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So follow at GR3
Yeah.
GORY 88.
I'm certainly going to.
Which those numbers at the end are twins. 88.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
The 3. There are 3 sticks on those things.
True.
And it makes you start, and it kind of looks like like in elite speak, it looks like an uppercase E.
Yeah.
It makes you think of egg. I am now
or
convinced.
it is also one of the words contained. I mean, one of the letters contained in the name Greg.
Yes,
could be.
That's true.
Could have something
That's
to do with
true, too.
that. Will.
However, I cannot overlook what Taylor pointed out. That
yes,
egg
that's amazing.
Is in the name
that
Greg.
egg is in Greg, and more than being, it's because it's not really in the name Greg. It's in the name Gregory. Is it GREGG?
Eggery.
Eggery. Is it Gregory spelled with 2 G or 3 G's? No. Okay, never mind.
No,
but still, Phonetically, it's got that egg in there.
Yeah, it's got that egg in there. It's got that egg in there.
That
Try to
is
deny it.
so fun.
Try to deny it.
You're totally right. Like you're really in it, and there's a certain point where it's kind of like, oh, this isn't necessarily the way I kind of hoped this would go. But even so,
It's fun.
It's still super fun. I
Have
love
fun
it.
with it.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, William. Thank you. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Gregory.
Thank you, Gregory.
I hope that you are preparing to do this again later in the year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I would like to be there with bells on.
Oh,
I am following
big time. I'm going
Greg,
to.
of course.
That rules.
So I will hopefully be in the know
Hell yeah.
and be able to alert everybody.
Awesome.
But there you go. The Greg thread, another viral sort of Twitter horror story sensation. A little interactivity,
That's right.
a little planning. Certainly has a more sort of like defined narrative arc
Yes.
than Dear David.
Yeah. And more, well, maybe not more. I was about to say more multimedia elements. Dear David, no, it does have some video. Okay, so I guess they are kind of the same in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. Thank you for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you all so much.
Go follow the Greg thread. You can also follow us. We're at GTTU Pod on all social media. You can request to join our private Facebook group. It's facebook.com/group/GTTU Pod, or you can search Guides to the Unknown Secret Society. You can also donate to us on Patreon. That's something that you can do if you either want to set up a monthly donation or just kind of a one-off to thank us for giving you weekly entertainment, and we really, really appreciate it. You can also follow us individually. I'm at Chillin' Kristen on Instagram and Twitter.
I'm at The Myth Traveler. I'm also going to say this early.
Yeah.
It's maybe a little too early, but I want to get people in the know and to prepare themselves. October 10th and October 27th.
Yes.
If you are in New Jersey or able to travel to New Jersey easily, we're going to, it looks like, be doing a couple of live shows. So if you're in the area, prepare those dates. The 10th, the 27th of October.
More info to come.
But mark down that on your calendars.
Yeah.
And maybe to give like a little tease preview.
That's what they call them.
That's what they say.
A tease preview of next week.
That's what they're constantly saying.
All the time. You can't stop them. We are going to be talking about scary stories to tell in the dark as a complement to the movie that will be out that time.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about the 3 original books and the brand new movie.
That's right.
All next week. So get your spooky stuff on this weekend. Do some reading, do some watching.
That's right.
There you go, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yep.
We will see you next week to tell you more terrifying tales. But until that time comes, we must travel.
Back to the netherworld. Go we. Bye.